Just a few years ago, we were operating from a small 1,000 square foot warehouse with just my brother and I, to now operating from this 10,000 square foot warehouse where we operate with our production team, our design team, and our media team. So without further ado, let's get started with the warehouse. As you can see right here, we have a nice setup. We have the American flag, we have a nice flooring, and the reason why we have this nice setup is because we do our installation videos here. Part of the perk or what we offer is we offer installation videos so the customer could be able to install it. So this is where everything happens. Now we can move on to the design area. We go ahead and get the vinyl, and they're just getting measurements from different parts of the vehicle that we need to sell. So we sell chrome leaves, we sell headlights, we sell the windshield protection foam. And so what the person essentially just does is they just trace out the pattern and the size of the area that we're gonna cover, and they just scan it on our scanner right here, which that equipment, I know is something relatively new that we got. Yeah. We got it maybe a year ago. It was a big investment, but it saves us a lot of time because before we had a small 36-inch scanner that it wasn't as good as opposed to this $10,000. Yeah, because before, just imagine we were scanning from a regular printer. You know how it has that lid? You open and close it. That's how we used to scan. Yeah. And so this is where we scan it. And so once it's scanned, we take it to our computers where we just use Illustrator. We trace it out and we just create the file. And then after that, it just goes to the other side. And that's one of the good things too, is that we have the BMW here. We work with a lot of cars, different cars. I know we work with Beamers, Porsches, not the exotic ones, not the Ferrari or Lamborghini, not yet. But we get to work with a lot of cars, and then also everyone working here, that's another plus and another benefit. But this process is very efficient because the way we set it up, everything is close together, where we have the car right dab in the middle. We get the measurements, we do everything that we have to do with the scan computers, and then at the other side we have the cutter, which I know my brother also had more information on the cutter. But that's the 60-inch scrap tech cutter, which is the biggest one that we can get. And I know it was also a big investment. It was roughly $10,000 for just one. For just one, and I know we have 4 of them right now. But it was a big investment, but it paid in dividends because each cutter has probably generated about $1 million each. And so it's paid in dividends, but it saved us a lot of time. It made us have the ability to create better products, so it's definitely worth it for us. Yep. Once we get the measurements, we get the actual raw image of it. We upload it to our computers, which is part of the design area. And so in the design area, we create the actual AI file. And at the same time, in order for the customer to see it, we create listings for it, and then we create images for it. In this area, we also answer customer questions, just customer service. And so this is also where we handle it. We have our media team, and this is essentially we wanted everyone that works on the computers to be in the same spot. That way, if there was cross collaboration, it could be easy for us to communicate. And this is the table that the media works from, and we are working on quite a bit of projects. I know we're working on projects for this channel. We also have the company channel, and we also have a podcast where eventually we're going to bring on other business owners, other guests, and that's what's happening with the media team. We have a lot of projects happening at the moment, and they're going to continue to come out. So stick around and see what's gonna happen. Go on to the next side of the tour. We have our small, you could say, conference room where it only fits maybe 3 people. I know that we also have our eating area, or our lunch break room, where people eat their food. And then we had our HR office here where we keep important stuff. And then at the far end corner, we have our media room, where right now it's under construction, but I mentioned that's where our podcast is going to be happening. Also, if we have any talking heads, that's where we're going to be recording. So that's the offices. Now we're going to move on to the middle section of the rack, which is going to be the rack. We do ship a lot of items. We ship maybe over 100 items a day that we fulfill. We also send to Amazon's warehouses. So in total, in a day, we probably ship around 200 to 300 products in a day. So we need a lot of material. There's a lot of things that we use because we have a whole wide variety of categories. We have Congolese tints that require different things, and so it's just the pallets we really needed them in order to just warehouse them and store them. And so the last thing that I did want to show is the defective items on top. We had some defective tints and also some transfer tape that was defective, and so I know that's part of the business too, where mistakes happen. And so I know that's storage, but I know that we are utilizing them in other areas. And so yeah, this essentially this area, because we do have a lot of stuff in general. I know that we try to label it as everything as clearly and as much as possible. Also, we have everything labeled. Sometimes we do run out of inventory, so we do have these color coding labels where red means we're low and green means we're pretty stocked. And so this is one thing that we use in order to just keep track of everything and making sure that we don't run out of stuff. And then we also, try and logically just to place things in the order that they should be. I know that for certain products we have a section for them, for others a different one. And so that's one of the ways that we do try to keep very organized. So now we're gonna walk over to our, what would you call our presentation? Our presentation meeting area.
Yeah, it's an open space where not everyone's gonna fit in one of those small rooms, so we need something big and open, and we just have to tie the TV. So
yeah. The reason why it's here is because it really is the most open space that we do have here. There's really no area for the outlets or for the TV to fit, so that's why we have it here, and it just makes sense. It's in the middle of the production, of the design, of the media. With that, I know that we have a big screen in order for everyone to see, because I know that sometimes what we do need to show important stuff that they need to visualize, and so that's why we have the TV. Just imagine that there's a whole group of people just sitting around here, and then we're just going through the numbers, we're going through the individual points, we're going through the sales, we're going through the improvements, we're going through the things that bug us. And so one of the good things that comes out of the meeting is, and the fact that it's daily, is when there's any issues or problems, we get to resolve them right away. And so that's one of the things that from the beginning we started, and it's something that has been really effective, and something that we have continued to do, and that we will continue to do. I know something else happens that is not working out, but it's something that has helped us a lot. This warehouse is 10,000 square feet. Yeah, we had some extra space.
Yeah, because not everything was gonna be used, and then right here there's no lighting, so it doesn't make sense to put any tables. So we're gonna have to spend more on lighting, and we could just push everything closer. But it's just like, break it.
And then I know when we did move, I know we didn't have room to put some of our equipment in different areas.
Yeah, we had an old printer that we eventually sold, which all this is just storage.
Yeah, and so I know right here, like you'll see that there's gym equipment. And so this is, I know I utilize it to work out, and I think you utilized it before, but I know that
in the old warehouse. Yeah, because we were thinking of putting other gym racks, and then we were also thinking doing a cardio equipment, a treadmill and whatnot. Because I know we also have a bet between people working here. Yeah. One of them is the person behind the camera with someone from the design team. They're gonna do who could bench the most, which the winner is gonna get $1,000. So stay tuned for that.
So that's gonna be in the future.
Yeah, to make them gains.
Now we'll go over to our production area, where this is essentially where the real magic happens, where we actually fulfill the product. And so right here, we have our PPF station, where if you look at it, it's the biggest table by far, because there are some products like paint protection for pre-cuts that are really long, 10, 15, 20 feet. And so we needed a large table in order to build those.
And so how my brother mentioned, this is where our PPF and window tint station happens. And if you see back here, we're also about efficiency. So we have a big rack where we store all our window tints and PPF material. That way, if we need to make an order, we can just grab it from the back of us, put it on the machine, and then just fill it. And so we also offer free tools for all the installations as part of the product. And this essentially, everything is organized, everything is efficient for the company and the customer to get their order as quick as possible.
And I know that one of the things that we did want to show is the wall rack that we had here. And one of the issues that we did face is where it stole the rolls that were already open. And so this wall rack came in really handy, because then it gives us the ability to just store them right away. So it doesn't even need a pull in order to make. It's just a matter of placing it in here, in there, and then that's it. Let's say a order does come in, all we need to do is just take it out, put it on the cutters, cut it, and that's it. So it saves us a lot of time, and this is an improvement that I really like.
Alright guys, and if we come to this section, we have this big piece of machinery, this bad boy that's called the roast roller. One of the reasons why we got that is for us to be more efficient, and then also eventually if we were to squeegee out every single day for 8 hours, our hands would get tired. So now we have this where essentially this machine, you put the transfer tape, you put the decal, and then you just roll it, and then now you have a perfect decal. So this is what the machine is, and I know that when we got it, it was roughly $30,000. It was an interesting investment. It was a good investment, but I think overall it helped with the efficiency of our work.
Like how we mentioned that we have different stations, that's the PPF. This is the Combili station where people go our Combilis, and then we have a cutter dedicated to that station, so this is where they get cut. Like how we mentioned, we did have 1, 2, 3, 4 grab tips, the big ones, the big ones, 60 inch, 60 inch, and so that was a really big investment, but I think it's paid dividends because it saves us a lot of time. And we also have the ability to cut products that we were never able to produce before. We do have our small cutters. So I know that in the beginning we didn't have a lot of money, so this was our first graph tank that we've ever gotten. It was what, roughly $2,000?
Yeah, roughly.
Yeah, and I know that we didn't have the money, so I know that we got a credit card in order to pay for it.
Remember?
Yeah, remember? And then some credit card we paid for it, and then that's how we started. And to this day, it's probably generated a couple $1 million in revenue.
Yeah.
And so, we've been through a lot. It's still working. So GrabTech, that's a good brand.
Yeah, because I know you also have your crickets, your smaller cutters, but what we wanted to do, we wanted to be more efficient. And I think you just told me like, hey, we're gonna get this cutter. I'm like, all right, and we got. And so this is our tint station, where we fulfill our tints. I know that it's very specific for the tints. We have tools for the tints here, so we have packaging for the tints here, and we have the cutters that, because of the rolls are 24 inches, they really only fit on this machine. And so it just makes sense to have it here. This is the tint station. And lastly this is where we mainly store our raw material. Now I know we have a lot because we just received the shipment from it, but we really run out almost right away. It maybe lasts 2 months to 3 months. And so because we have so much volume right now, that we order very constantly. We do buy in batches. Sometimes we buy tints, sometimes we buy gloss black, sometimes we buy matte black. And so roughly on average, I would say that when we do buy inventory, it ranges from 20,000 to 40,000 at a time. So it's pretty significant. So we try to be very conscious as to the amount that we do buy. Alright guys, and that was almost to the end of the tour. We have one final spot is where we started, which is the parking lot. And right here we store any materials that we need, and then we also have the cars parked here. And that's the end of the work.
They may be small to some, it might be big to some. Hopefully there was something that was helpful to you guys, and at the same time a little inspirational, because I know that when we started, I used to look at business videos, I used to look at warehouse tours, and I used to think to myself, and I know we used to think to ourselves, damn, hopefully one day we'll get to that stage. I know driving by, we used to look at warehouses and we'll be there one day, or we'll get there one day. So you could have added value to people.
And how my brother mentioned, we are going to be coming out with more business insights, more behind the scenes of how a business operates. We aren't the biggest business, but I know we're going to be sharing every step of the way throughout our journey for us hitting 5 million and then 10 million. So if you guys are interested in that type of content, stick around and we'll see you on the next video.